Hello all, Rick here with a new video covering a classic starship design, the Constellation, as seen first on Picard's desk. Beginning as usual with its origin. In real life, the Constellation was created for Star Trek The Next Generation to replace what was originally going to be a Constitution class USS Stargazer. The name was chosen because it could be easily dubbed over the mention of a Constitution which had already been filmed. The Constellation was created by Rick Sternbach and Andy Probert for the vessel to take the place of Picard's first command. The original model was first created as a kitbash of the Constitution class parts, establishing its era of origin, as well as various other products from Macross Gundam and other available model kits. Additionally, the original ideas of starship construction were considered when assembling it, with the idea of 4 nacelles not violating the rule of nacelles not being in uneven numbers. This originally was set up as a piece of set dressing for the ready room. However, when time came for its official reveal in The Battle, a new model had to be created to replace the original idea of it being a Constitution, and we get the birth of the USS Stargazer. So, just as this ship was a repurposing of Constitution parts, its in-universe origin shares a fair amount of this. The Constellation Class is a product of its time, a sort of hybrid for travel and defensive duties. Deployed in the late 23rd century, it was accompanied by designs like the Constitution refit, the new Miranda variants, and alongside the Excelsior class. Starfleet had no shortage of new innovations in ship design in this era, and it's seen as one of those points that led to a boom in new vessels, the likes not seen again until the emergence of the Dominion almost 100 years later. Starfleet does seem to have these sudden bursts of design, doesn't it? The project began as tensions with the Klingons escalated once more before the Khitomer Accords were struck, and the Constellation was effectively designed as a stopgap for patrols, as well as to be a capable explorer. The long-running Constitution class was finally outclassed by the Excelsior, and Miranda's variants and overhauls offered Starfleet a lot in the way of combat capabilities. Starfleet needed a ship that could effectively watch its borders while conducting exploratory duties, and coupled with the failure of the Transwarp project, this vessel was conceived in 2285. The Constellation class was designed at the Titan Orbital Complex, Terra Nova's shipyards, and the Andorian Imperial shipyards, with the mission profile to intercept trouble along the border and hold out until a response fleet could arrive. Therefore, it was to be hardy and fast. This was Starfleet's way of avoiding spreading itself too thin against Klingon opposition. Fortunately, the Khitomer Accords would establish a peace treaty with the Empire, so this never really had to act in a wartime capacity. Well, not yet. Its design remained unchanged, however, already in service by this time, and instead it still performed these duties, just now with more time to play courier and general crisis response instead of combatant. The 4 nacelle design, occasionally seen in Starfleet's past, would emerge once more here, but unlike the earlier Nimitz and Cardenas class vessels, the Constellation was the first to employ the warp coasting method properly, like the later Cheyenne and Sagan vessels. This was attributed to the latest computer advances, which could better handle the ridiculous computations to manage the intricate warp fields generated. Former vessels had to drop from warp to re-establish the field when switching nacelles. The practical upshot of the new design being that it was far more efficient, not necessarily faster, but higher speeds were sustainable for longer. Because of its original design expecting combat, the Constellation was also incredibly durable, if not the heaviest hitter in the fleet, meaning that the line extended well into the late 24th century, although they had long since discontinued production, but even the retired vessels frequently found use as training ships, a fate shared by its contemporaries like the Miranda. They even supported in the Dominion War. Whereas the Excelsior was pioneering the new technologies, the Constellation was basically taking what worked from the Constitution class and adopting it, combining it with the breakthrough of warp coasting. For example, if the impulse engines look familiar, well, this is because they are the same model as the Constitution Mark II refits, just doubled up. The Constellation is 310 metres long, 140 wide and 94 tall across 17 decks. Its crew complement was around 350, but it could house up to 1,500, and in an emergency it could evacuate up to 3,500 people. Auxiliary craft included at least 2 shuttles and about 8 worker bees for maintenance. Interestingly, the main shuttle bay was at the fore of the saucer, while numerous others lined the saucer's rim, which itself was spanning at least 6 decks. This makes me highly suspect that although 2 shuttles were initial, the Constellation would likely house far, far more, as it was certainly capable, and the USS Stargazer was evacuated in a fleet of small craft, according to Picard. The warp capabilities of the Constellation were top of the line at its launch, with it being able to achieve a maximum of warp 9.2 on the newer scale, and sustaining this for twice as long as your standard ship thanks to its Yoyodyne-produced warp core and 4 Avidyne-class impulse fusion reactors. Its cruise speed was around warp 6, and despite minor improvements over its operational lifetime, these numbers are fairly consistent. In terms of firepower, it was moderately armed. Certainly less firepower than the Federation could bring to bear, but plenty for an exploratory and response ship. It had 6 Type 8 phaser emitters and 6 photon torpedo launchers dotted around, giving adequate coverage. However, visual inspection seems to show at least 8 photon torpedo launchers, 4 fore and 4 rear, and 9 phaser placements. Either way, this thing's party trick is apparently a torpedo barrage. Its sensor systems were standard Starship fare, which is to say above average because, you know, Starfleet, meaning that it could work very well as a survey and patrol vessel. However, its long-range sensors were very acute, with all these domes on the bottom of the saucer being mostly sensor arrays including a long-range antenna. Overall, the Constellation is an exceptional class that owes its long lifespan to its original function. Initially there to intercept enemy combatants and hold their attention until the fleet arrived, the Constellation was both durable and fast. It performed admirably as a survey ship, and due to its reliable new warp design, it could continue to operate in its defensive role when needed, as well as finding a place as a courier and crisis response ship. Like the Cardenas class that came before it, it was a stubborn ship built to last, and in many ways acts as a replacement, with the scales tilted slightly more towards exploration than its predecessor. Pioneering the first true warp coasting design, it would cement the technology as a frequent bookmark in any era of starship design. And indeed, ever since the Constellation, Starfleet has always maintained a class that had 4 nacelles. So while not quite as pivotal as, say, a Constitution or Miranda, the Constellation is one of the foundational designs of the Federation. Thanks for watching this breakdown of the Constellation class. I've been Rick, and until the next video, goodbye.